The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is a dark fantasy RPG released in 2015 by CD Projekt Red that is set in a war-torn, monster-infested, grim world on the brink of total collapse. Players control the stoic Geralt of Rivia, a monster-slaying mercenary known as a Witcher, who accepts a contract to find the child of prophecy called Ciri. Geralt sees Ciri as his daughter, and she is being pursued by an otherworldly phantom army called the Wild Hunt, who intend to extract her powers derived from her elder blood. This game took the gaming community by storm and put CD Projekt Red on the map. People raved and continue to rave about this game, but after my first playthrough on PS4 a few years ago, I didn't quite take to the game the way I thought I hoped I would. Thankfully, I gave the game another chance on the PS5. I'm happy to announce that I am now a complete addict of The Witcher 3. It's a world rich with history, lore, politics, interesting characters, the supernatural, sorcery and more. The game perfectly balances monsters, horror, war and poverty with natural beauty, magic and intrigue. Having revisited this game recently, I wanted to share what I have learned. The Witcher 3 is an incredible and complex game with so much to learn that it can feel overwhelming. So here's 5 things that I wish that I knew before playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Why have you come?
First of all, you need to know that your choices genuinely impact the way events unfold. One of the things I have grown to love about this game is how fleshed out the character's world and quests are. The Witcher 3 technically has 36 different endings due to the variations there can be in the game world by the story's end. The game is full of difficult decisions, and your actions and dialogue choices can determine relationships, how much money and experience you get, quest completion, and can have a ripple effect on the outcome of interconnected storylines. A prime example of this is how the main quest Return to Crookback Bog plays out. Depending on how Geralt handled the quest The Whispering Hillock, the outcome of this rescue mission will change. There are a lot of quests like this throughout the game, where the consequences of your actions later become apparent. Some quests are short, like getting the pan for the woman near the lake in White Orchard.
Me pan!
Always the same old shit.
And others are more drawn out, like the quests where you assist a man in locating his dead lover's body on a battlefield filled with corpses. Other side quests are more significant and interwoven with the main story. The only other thing I want to mention is romance options. When it comes to romances, although Geralt can get it on with a few characters such as Ciri Metz, I always prefer Triss over Yennefer as Geralt's primary love interest. Triss is more fun, developed and likeable than Yennefer, but unfortunately the game is geared towards Geralt romancing Yennefer, which comes with additional dialogue and quests. If you engage in a relationship with Triss, you sadly miss out on these things. Yennefer has more of a solid role in Geralt's life and history, and her involvement in the main story and Ciri is much larger. So, even if you prefer Triss, I recommend sticking with Yennefer.
I'd heard you and Triss made a great couple.
Yen, I'd lost my memory.
Really? That's your excuse?
When I first played this game, I found the mutagens, alchemy and skills to be intimidating and complicated, but now I think these systems are great. Also, I have no idea if it's pronounced mutagens or mutagens, but it feels more natural to just say mutagens, so I'm going to stick with that. These mechanics allow you to create your own character build and playstyle. You can literally become whatever kind of witcher you want to be. You can create a heavy magic build with strong sign intensity, become a close combat powerhouse, fight with potions, bombs and toxicity, or you can stack your vitality. Mutagens can be activated by placing them in one of the 4 diamond-shaped slots to enable special bonuses to your character stats. There are various mutagens that differ in boon strength and type. The colour of the mutagen determines what type of bonus is enabled. Blue mutagens increase sign intensity, green mutagens increase vitality, and red mutagens increase attack power. The strength of the mutagen is signified by its name. Lesser mutagens obviously grant a lower bonus than regular and greater mutagens, and you really want to focus on alchemizing greater mutagens by acquiring the correct number of lesser mutagens of the same colour. There are also special mutagens often dropped by enemies that act like lesser mutagens. Mutagens also have 3 connected square-shaped ability slots. Each ability placed in a slot next to a mutagen of the same colour massively boosts the mutagen's bonus. Therefore, if you slot 3 abilities that match the colour of the linked active mutagen, the bonus will increase in strength 3-fold. Knowing this, you can become very powerful, especially when all ability and mutagen slots are unlocked. Unlocking the synergy ability in the alchemy skill tree can further increase the magnitude of the Mutagens bonus. This might sound like basic RPG stuff, but I genuinely didn't fully understand this system in my first playthrough, and I didn't realise that which ability you slot next to a mutagen matters. If a mutagen of a different colour is slotted, then it has no effect on the mutagen's bonus. It can make a big difference. When I played The Witcher 3 for the first time, I genuinely did not understand Gwent at all, and I simply did not have the patience for it, so I avoided it completely when possible. This time, I paid attention, and I have come to appreciate the game of Gwent for what it is. I'm actually quite good at it, and I find myself trying to collect all the cards and actively seeking out opponents, rather than avoiding Gwent like the plague. I do think the Gwent tutorial could have been better. It feels over-explained, which makes it feel unnecessarily complicated. So let me simplify things for you the best I can. Basically, you have a deck of cards that you can place on the card type's corresponding row on a 3-tiered board. The numerical strength of the card you place are tallied together to make up your total points. The player with the highest total points after 2 rounds wins. There are 3 types of placeable cards. The front row of the board is for close combat cards weak to ice attacks, the middle row is for ranged cards weak to fog attacks, and the back row is for heavy artillery cards weak to rain attacks. You can have special cards in your deck. For example, you can conjure up one of the 3 weather weaknesses to reduce your opponent's corresponding card type value to 1. There are lots of special cards that you want to focus on acquiring throughout the game. The only other significant thing is that you have a leader card with special abilities that can be triggered once during a match. For example, the ability to draw an additional card or clear all weather effects on the board. The game sounds more complicated than it is. For example, the card types have no meaning except to replicate battle formations. For example, heavy artillery means nothing except it's on the back row like heavy artillery would be in battle conditions. So don't be intimidated by Gwent. The best way to learn is by playing matches, hopefully winning and gaining better cards. The city of Novigrad is notorious for being the biggest, most vibrant city ever found in an open world RPG. It's truly teeming with life, and it's the only place in the entire game where you can visit the Vivaldi Bank. On your travels, you will pick up a lot of orens and florins, and you must go to Vivaldi Bank in order to exchange them for crowns, which is the only currency anyone accepts in the game. Note that foreign currencies automatically go into your junk, but make sure you don't discard them. At Vivaldi Bank, you can also take out loans, but I'm not sure why you would need to do that, since sellable loot and money are plentiful. Dismantling equipment is often a better idea than selling, however, because you can gain valuable crafting and alchemy materials, and merchants barely pay anything for gear. Anyways, the Vivaldi Bank is not marked on the map, but it's easy to find, is run by a dwarf who is an existing friend of Geralt's, and the place has a sign in the shape of a giant gold coin hanging outside. Another tip is to always buy repair kits from merchants because your weapons and armour do degrade and get weaker. Having a plentiful supply of armour and weapon repair kits on hand can save you having to frequently travel back to blacksmiths and armourers to pay to repair everything. This can be particularly annoying if you are in the middle of nowhere exploring, since you have to be at a signpost to fast travel anywhere. I would also purchase any items that have a small yellow exclamation mark on them, because they are quest items that you might need later, and you can save yourself a trek. Always check what every merchant has on offer. You might be surprised at what you find. Some sell a super rare item called a Potion of Clearance. The Potion of Clearance is a rare and valuable item that you should 100% buy if you see it. This amazing potion allows you to redistribute your ability points. This is definitely something I wish I knew in my first playthrough, because I completely messed up my build owing to my lack of understanding of the mutagen and abilities system. Alas, I didn't know, and ended up stuck with quite a physically weak Geralt who missed out on dialogue options and XP due to having underleveled signs. The potion costs 1,000 crowns and can be purchased from 4 people in the base game. Ciri Metz offers one, a merchant in a shop in Gildorf Novigrad has one, and there are 2 at Gedineth that you can get from Gremist and Yolar. One of the most common mistakes for even the most seasoned Witcher players is forgetting to consult the Bestiary. And why is it a Bestiary and not a Bestiary, since it contains details about beasts? Food for thought. Anyway, most games that have a compendium of enemies do not place much importance on looking at it, and you can easily get through the entire game never reading it. The Witcher 3 is very different. Reading the Bestiary before going into combat with different foes can mean the difference between life and death. The Bestiary outlines enemy weaknesses and basically tells you what you need to do to prepare for the battle, such as adding oils to your blades, equipping specific consumables, and which signs the enemy is weak against. A good example of this is fighting wraiths. When I first came across a wraith, I didn't understand the importance of the Bestiary, but after reading it, I realised that wraiths remain incorporeal unless inside a Yarden trap. When they enter the trap, they become corporeal and you can inflict damage. Reading the Bestiary can also give you a better idea of the kind of things you will need to alchemise, like oils, decoctions and bombs. Shorter entry this one, but straight to the point, always check your Bestiary.
Hey, I think it worked.
So there we have it, there's 5 things I wish I knew before playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. There are a lot more tips I could give for this game, such as always quick save before battles, make good use of your storage box and prioritise Witcher gear hunts. But I do hope that these tips in particular helped and that you are enjoying the game as much as I did. I'm Heather at Amalgamingle and thank you very much for watching.